Hey guys, this is Frosty Snow, and I'm finally getting through to my Annie tutorial. I'm only in a bot game for now, just so I can go over some basics. Uh, I'll go over my runes and masteries later. Don't quite feel like doing that right now. But basically, it's mostly ability power and magic pen on the runes. And let's see, on the masteries, I pretty much just went 22 and 8. Usually I go 21, 0, and 9 for the increased buff duration, but since it's a bot game, I'm not playing to get blue. And since I'm not playing to get blue, getting that increased buff duration is kind of pointless. I also go with 22 and 8 when I know my jungler's going to be taking blue, like if it's in a Moo. I don't plan to see blue the entire game. It just does better, in my opinion. Actually, I don't think it's 22 and 8. I think it's like 21 and 3 and 5. I don't know. 21, 5, 3 maybe. It's questionable. I'll show you guys after the game. For sure. Actually, I'm going to check, make sure this is recording my voice. Lost internet connection, okay. So yeah, it is. Hopefully I can get some leak sound in. I don't know if that sounds there, but if it's not, oh well. So. There are, in every game, what I consider two phases. The laning phase and the not laning phase. Not really a better way to call it. Maybe some call it the team fight phase, the push phase, whatever. You're no longer in lane farming. You're past that point. In the first phase, the laning phase, I feel there are two ways to play it. You can play either aggressively or defensively. Defensively, all you do is queue your minions and get your farm. Kinda boring if you ask me, not really pushing too much, but I mean, if they have a mid that just beats your mid, and you know they're gonna beat you, it's better to go in defensive and not feed, farm up, get ready for the team fights. However, if you know you can win, you're gonna want to play aggressively, using your passive and abilities to your advantage. Now, on Annie, typically, I start with my boots and just 3 health pots right off the break. Most of my AP mids have different items, mainly because I like the regen pot. I'll show you, the crystalline flask, I believe it's called. Yeah, I just like it so much, but on Annie, it is not needed because you just don't need it. Now, I don't think the sound is on. It could be. Here, let me check. Right. Yeah, I'll just raise this volume a little.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, there's no way you guys hear that. Oh, full blast.
You wanna play too? It'll be fun.
Hope that's not too loud. I don't think it is. Make it pretty quiet, just so you guys can hear it. Hopefully it's quiet. I don't want it to be louder than me, but since I just don't know where it's at. Okay, it's that far. I'll make it slightly louder. And back to leak. Now, since this is a bot game, I'm gonna go ahead and play. I'll start defensively just to show you guys what it's like. but I'm going to move aggressively quite soon because, quite frankly, I'm going to get bored.
Have you seen my bear
No
tippers?
offense to the people who play bot games, just, it's not too hard for me. And this is defensive, you just stay, you keep your distance. I screwed that one up, but keep your distance, you Q when you can, you just farm, you know?
You wanna play too?
You don't let him get
That'd be
close to
fun.
you, you don't get close to him. Just get your farm, get out. All you do.
This way.
And typically you do this, even if you're you typically queue your way up to level 2, because until then you just
wanna
can't
play
do much.
too? That'd be fun.
Alright, so now I'm level 2 and I want to start playing aggressively. What do? Well, I see that when I see that. Alright, my passive allows me to stun every so often. And the way to see if your passive is ready to go to stun, you'll see a hand with fire. If you see a hand with fire, it means when you go and kill the guy, he's stunned. Now, when you see the hand with gray, and it's not really on fire, I mean it is, it's just colored gray, then you don't have your stun. Now you see a 2, that means you've done 2 spells. Now you're at 3 spells. And we'll shoot him with the Q because we're playing aggressively. Now you're at 4 spells. The fire is back up. So when you're at 3 and you pop a spell, your stun's ready to go. Now the whole trick with this is, I'll show you guys later, but if you have your shield, like I do now, here I'll show you. I'll just show you. Since it's such a low mana cost, if you were to pop it, you now your stun's ready because you popped the spell. It does count, and you could shock the person if they're not ready, if they're not clicked onto you, watching how many spells you have, because most people will only watch for the swirly stuff. As you can see, is around her now. Typically isn't. It's only up when your stun is ready. But if you use the shield to pop your stun, they won't see it in time because you'll pop your shield, your stun's up, and you're automatically queuing. They're not ready. They're just not ready to fight you, and you'll get a good amount of poke off real fast. As you can see, I'm pretty much using my Q, since if it kills a minion or a player, if it kills anything at all, it'll refund you your mana costs. So if you use that on minions to charge up your stun, you're able to get a free stun up, pretty much. And it makes farming a little easier.
Have you seen my bear tippers?
Now, a debate with a lot of anime players I've had is, so you have your stun, and they're not around. Should you use the stun? Now this all, I guess it's all really circumstantial. Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no. In this case I'm going to say no, because I have tibbers, and I'm just going to pretty much kill them, because that's what you do when you get tibbers. Though if you're losing the lane, as long as they're not a champion that jumps to you, if they got better range than you, I would say go ahead and blow it, you know, get your farm. If you're playing defensively, for sure get your farm, unless they are just absolutely about to kill you and you need it to live. But pretty much for the most part you need to blow it. Not blow it, because, I mean you do blow it, because just the additional farm, it's nice. Though if you're about to get a kill, obviously the kill is more worth it, and you'll go for the kill. Alright, so in this case, it's a bot, so he's not expecting shit, but he doesn't know my stun's up. We'll just pretend it's Freddy now. So he doesn't know my stun's up. He's charging. Hop around, do some good damage. It's a Swain, so he did get the snare on me, but I did more damage to him just because I'm Annie, and that's what. Annie's just have a pretty good poke, so you're able to trade very well. You generally don't have to worry about trading on most champions, especially if you got the stun and you follow up with your W.
Have you seen my bear Tibbers?
Let's see, creep-wise I'm at 48. I know it's a bot game, and the other people are like at 20. So the Q makes it really just a lot easier to farm. However, as you just saw, if you miss your Q, you do not get the mana back. So you need to be careful when you're queuing. And I should probably go back. I do need to regen health. I mean, it's been a while. I've been in lane for quite a bit. I'm level 7. 28,200 gold, so... Alright, so now we're considering items for Annie. What does Annie build? So, what I've noticed is Annie, for the most part, has really good base damage. And so you're going to build something that goes around that. And Rod of Aegis does it perfectly because it gives you health. And your things do have good ratios. It really do. So, I mean, it's good to get ability power. But if you get, like, Rod of Aegis and items that give you health and ability power, you're just able to become a tank because this gives you magic resist and armor. And it's ridiculous how good you become in a team fight because they can't really focus you, but your Tibbers is doing so much damage that they kind of have to. And it's really awkward for them, especially if they don't focus you because you do this. I mean, I've got 89 AP, and I just insta-spiked. Sure, it's a bot, but still, insta-spike is an insta-spike. So, she's got that strong early base damage. You don't have to build ability power to get some good damage. But, so I go for an early Rod, because it helps you get the tankiness and ability power from it. It's a wonderful item to get and start with, because if you don't get it right away, then getting it later is kind of pointless because of the charges. So you need to get that kind of early in your build. So, oh, whoops, messed up on my W. So I should be able to, actually I can't fight it. 1v2 is not a fun thing to do without Tibbers. Another thing, since it appears I'm going to be leaving the kind of early, fighting without Tibbers is a really bad idea. As you can see, I'm about to die. Exhaust, yeah, dead. So, as you can see, Annie's most of her damage, if you don't get ability power, early game, most of your damage is going to come from Tibbers, and that's just something you have to work around because you need the health. You're squishy without it. You need the Rod of Aegis, in my opinion. So normally you don't leave laning phase so early, and you'll get ability power. After this, you go straight for the death cap, and then you're balling. Normally, you don't get out of laning phase 11 minutes in. We're kind of still there, but I'm in an awkward spot since I pushed the tower so fast. And it happens with bots. I mean, it's a good thing that I pushed the tower. I mean, I've got kills, so I'm doing great. It's awkward for me. It's where do I go, right? I'm just going to push it mid, however. So yeah, you keep using your Q. Let's see, 74 to 38 is the second highest on my team. Once again, it's a bot game. I didn't anticipate them to beat me in creep at all.
Try to keep up.
But yeah, it's just when you have Tibbers, you're free to you're free to fight, really. You just, especially if you got 3
This way.
and you're ready to pop the tippers. Because, but oh, tip, you never, ever, if I ever see someone doing this while I'm playing, I'm going to get really mad at them. If you pop your tippers when the red fire hands are not up, I'm going to get extremely mad at you, because just why? Because he does AoE damage. I'll show you. He does damage if you're near him, and he hits the guy. It should show the damage. There's some damage. It's doing damage. So if you stun them right when you call him, he's able to do that damage while they're stunned, and that is just all the better. You'll be summoning spells, dealing a shit ton of damage. See? AoE damage right there. And so you should never call out tibbers if your hand is not on fire. Literally.
An ally has been slain.
Make sure your hand's on fire before calling tibbers.
Been slain.
Probably the biggest tip I can give you this game. Probably even more bigger than the queuing minions. It's just that important. So you see, I have 7350, a little bit of health. He can't really fight me. It's a bot, like I said. Bad example, but like, I mean, a player might try to do it, but you know, you can't really fight, especially if I pull like that. And if allies come. And like I said, we've kind of left the laning phase because I've pushed so fast. Normally, I of course would be, tower would still be up and we'd be fighting in the middle, and ganks like that would have nothing to do with me. Alright, so I'm gonna get the sword boot. I see I'm 60 away. I don't really want to wait, but I want some AP. I'm gonna go ahead and get the amplifying totem. It's not a bad item to get. It slows down the def cap a little, but I didn't want to wait. I wanted AP now, so it works because I'm gonna build into it later. Get like a void staff or maybe even a Riley's crystal scepter. So it's not a bad item to build. Just I prefer if I would have preferred it had I had the 860 to go straight to def cap. You know, just get the items for def cap. I would have preferred that much more. Not saying it's bad though. In fact, if you're at the like 700, 600 mark, go ahead and get it. That little bit of ability power is nice. So I'm popping the shield to go ahead and start charging for tibbers because I want to fight this. But I don't have tibbers on. As I've just said, if you're in, you just, see, he's kicking my ass right now. Not really, I have Rod of Ages. Pop the tibbers, and then he's dead. So, always make sure your hands are on fire when you pop tibbers. Just so important for you to do. Like, you just have to do it.
An enemy has been slain.
Interesting bot game. I'm obviously destroying the farm. Cho'Gath is only 40 behind me. So, I mean, I'm at 100, 15 minutes in. It's not bad, not exactly pro level. But, I mean, I could see this kind of stuff in a ranked game probably. It's kind of farm, so I'm not disappointed. I should be paying more attention to the farm, but I'm trying to explain everything. And I'm letting it get to me. I shouldn't be. It's supposed to be good. So if they're melee, you can do what I've been doing and just poke them. And then when they poke back, it kind of. So as you see, I have a little bit of ability power, so I'm supposed to do decent damage now. Because of the Rod of Ages, after a little while it starts stacking some good ability power, for sure. And I'm just already at 2k health for the most part. Pretty tanky. I like a good high damage dealing tank character. Those are just, I feel overpowered right now. I truly do. I mean, it's bots, don't get me wrong, and not trying to say I look down on people who don't excel in bots. Just, me personally, I'm used to higher gameplay because of my ego. It's just higher. I'm not trying to be a dick here, but it is. So I need to charge up my stun. We're about to go in the fight, and I want it. Looks like we're gonna need it, but it's always nice to have. See, look, 80 carry, dead. I had no problems killing him. Level 10? Wow, I didn't notice they were that far behind me. Alright, let's check out some. See, I'm hitting Alistar quite well. Doing some decent damage too. Alright. Well. Okay, so on Tibbers, another quick piece of information. You can move him by clicking the R button. I don't think people realize this because they kind of let their Tibbers just roam randomly. But you could be telling him to hit a champion that's chasing you or go into a bush. What I like to do with my Tibbers, I like to tell him to go into a bush. If he's already out, engaged, and they ran into a bush. So I don't want to run into that bush alone. That's scary stuff. So if I got Tibbers out and bush thinking they're there, if you send Tibbers in first, he does give you sight. So just a tip there.
You wanna play too? That'll be fun.
See if I missed anything. So right now I'm going for Death Cap. Sometimes, if you get good with Annie, I would recommend going for a Magi's, especially if you are in Elo Hell and you know you're better. You know you're gonna win by marginal amount. You know you're gonna get like 9 kills, go 9-1. Go ahead and get a Magi. Like, I didn't do it this game because I didn't think about it, but a Magi's would work on Annie. It works superb, especially if you could get it charged, if you're getting kills, you're using your Tibbers properly. Get a Magi. You know, get that ability power because it will stat. In fact, it is one of my items I get definitely a jungle man. Oh shit. Can't do 1v3, unfortunately. Oh, don't die. Oh, yeah, that's how it starts. Ram into me. So Annie's not the best at 1v3s. She knew quite a bit of damage. She's just 1v3s aren't enough. She's not extreme hyper carry. Even if you're fed, I mean, you can't just take on an entire team. Usually, unless you get extremely fed, they're bad, you land a good ultimate. Yeah, of course, you could rule the world if you wanted to. Alright, got my Death Cap. So, 20 minutes in the game, I'm rocking 356 AP. That goes really, really well with my ratios because they're all doing like plus 200 damage from their base, and her base damage is really, really good. So Annie's, for the most part, only way to play her minion way fast, as you can tell, is her W. It's her only real minion clearing wave. If you're jungle, you clear it different ways. Of course, you rely on shield, but that's jungle camps. Minions, you for the most part have to rely on your W.
Have you seen my bear Tibbers?
So I've got Tibbers. I want to engage. You should always think that, well, it's a Malphite. I don't want to engage Malphite. Malphite's a tank. Well, he's only got really armor, so I should be able to hurt the crap out of him. Should have popped my ultimate. Didn't realize I was going to do that much damage. See, that's how you know it's a good champion. You think you're gonna do less damage, and you end up doing more than you thought. I'm gonna pop my shield, since I'm just charging up my titters right now. I'm gonna go ahead and pop my W on these guys. They'll run away. Pop. Got Tibbers up. Tibber. Ow, if only I was closer. I shouldn't have ran away. Another thing with Annie, you gotta believe in yourself, because if you run away, you get away and you're disappointed in yourself. You gotta believe in your power, for sure. I'm not saying go 1v5, no, but if you engage, you need to believe. As with all champions, a general tip is, if you're fighting, unless you're a Hope champion, which is like Italy, go fucking fight. There are too many people in all elos that don't. Like, if you start a fight, or if your team is fighting, you need to get in the fight. If you choose to engage, generally speaking, you're not going to get away. There's slows. Certain champions can ignore this rule, like Ari. She'll just ult away and laugh at you, be like, what are you doing? You're chasing an Ari. Same with Singe. But generally speaking, if you're trying to fight, just go fight. Don't beat around the bush, trying to poke, slash, stay alive. A fight is a fight. You need to go in. It's just, you need to just go in if you're gonna fight. There should not be any hesitation in fight. That's what loses it for most teams. In all elos I found, I've seen anyway. People who hesitate, like shit right there, not trying to call up shit out, but had he not hesitated, would have got a kill there. We're gonna kill him. We're not gonna have to fight. He's too weak. And my son, too strong. So, what I would have done for items, I would have built a void staff, since I've noticed I'm pretty tanky. They don't have a lot of damage on the All-Star. Probably the most damage I've seen on their team that I don't stick build. So, I was just going to build a void staff. And then, let's see, Ryla's Crystal Scepter and a Guardian Angel would have been a good build to finish on. Guardian Angel, of course, is always nice. Your Tibbers, cool fact here, your Tibbers stays alive in as you can see, sometimes hesitation for a little bit. So yeah, your Tibbers stays alive with your Guardian Angel. That's, in my opinion, a really good build. I love my Tibbers. So very, very. Right now, if Cho was to go in, he probably would have killed him. So, on my original point, don't hesitate in a fight. Believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself. That's what makes most pros better than lower elos. They know they can win, so they fight it. Whereas lower elos, they'll doubt themselves and run away when they shouldn't. I mean, sometimes they really they should. Don't be overconfident, but have some belief in yourself. For sure, you need that. Believe in yourself. As Annie, I almost never ever go into a team fight without using my ultimate. Like, well, to start off with. Because the sooner you get Tibbers out, the sooner he starts his AoE damage. And his AoE damage is really high. Let's see what it is right now for me. It is 125 for 45 seconds. pretty high. In all honesty, that is really, really high. Constant damage, anyway. Like, the spell's been cast, and I'm getting chased by 3. So, Annie's counter. Tanks. Just can't fight things. Is he gonna catch me? Oh. Will he? I actually could have maybe fought that. I'm going to fight this. I believe in myself. I believe that killed. I'm also fed and Annie, so there's that, but believe it. If you take anything away from this video, have confidence when you fight. Don't fight without confidence. If you're not confident in the fight, don't stay. Just leave. If you feel like everyone is about to die, and y'all aren't gonna kill a single soul, leave. Your teammates might get pissed off at you, you didn't fight with them. Maybe they're right. But generally, if you have such a strong feeling against the fight that you just want to leave, it was probably a good call. So once again, gonna go through. So there, I popped my shield in order to get my stun off. I didn't really stun him. I wasn't fast enough. But hey, I got the stun up, and I did stun Malphite. Let me grab this turn.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
The game's probably gonna end here. And this has been my Annie tutorial. I'll go through my runes and masteries right after this game is over, so you guys can take a look at what I'm running. Copy it, use, maybe just use it, or you know, take what you like from it. Maybe you don't like it all. You know, every person plays differently, so you should never 100% copy someone's stuff unless it's what you want. You should be an individual player for sure.
Victory.
So, victory on bots. Obviously not too hard, it was bots. But, and yeah. As you can see, my farm was pretty high. I wasn't paying too much attention to it towards the end. But, yeah, you need to be confident in your fight. Like, I'm probably really repetitive on this, but it's the one thing that takes me off the most. So, I'm gonna go to home. I'll show you guys my runes and masteries for Annie. So, I had already set up runes and masteries. So, if you guys think... Alright, so, in all honesty, I don't go into a ranked game with these runes and masteries. In fact, I set up my masteries once I get into the game because they're that specific to my champions. But these are my Annie runes. If I feel like playing Annie, one of these 3 rune pages is what I'll end up going up with. So, this is my aggressive. If I'm going to be aggressive in lane, these are the runes I want. Gonna have magic pin marks, and then straight flat ability power on everything else. Some people say, oh, you should get different seals, you're wasting it. In my opinion, I'm not. I just don't feel like I am. Now, page 3 is oddly similar. This is my, like, ooh, I'm gonna try to be aggressive, but I don't know how it'll work. This is a weird. It's a mix. It's a mix between completely defensive and completely aggressive. For, you know, when you're gonna do a little bit of both. Now, completely defensive. You aren't gonna try to fight this guy at all because you just know they're gonna kick your ass. Maybe it's LeBlanc. LeBlanc is a strong lane, but sucks the team. You just want to wait till team. You don't want to feed them because then you know your team is fucked. these are the runes I would go with. Movement speed crits to run away, and magic resistance marks, armor seals. Now you're wondering, oh, if they're AP, and I'm going to mid lane, why am I getting armor seals? Well, generally, there's a jungler involved, and he will gank. Armor's nice. It just is. It also helps late game. And then magic resistance lifts. Now, I don't generally run with this. I mean, as Annie, you shouldn't have to worry about like almost any champions, so going straight defensive, usually not. That's kind of why I've got these two APs. I've yet to buy all the magic resist glyphs just because I hardly ever use them. Now, I'm going to show you my masteries, so let's go over masteries. And this is the mastery set I generally run with all my AP mids. I get this because it gives me the increased ability power on Ignite, and I generally use Ignite on all my AP mids. Cooldown reduction, I shouldn't have to explain to you why that's awesome. Ability power, way better than attack damage and damage to turrets. Magic Pen, awesome there. Increased damage. Ability power, now this, some people underestimate this, but just think about it for a second. You have 100 ability power. That's 5 extra damage. That's nice. I mean, I start off with probably around 40 to 50 ability power. So, it's not a lot, but it does add up. It really does. You get 500 ability power, then that is 25 damage on every auto attack. Not too much, but hey, better than 2 ability power, in my opinion. Increases ability power by 5%. Better than increasing ability power by 2, because once you get to 100, that's 5. Yada, yada, yada. Now, increases damage dealt by 5% to targets below 50%. I shouldn't have to tell you why that's just awesome on Addict. Moving on. So, I max out the movement speed and not the meditation, mainly because you get your mana regen, for the most part, from your Q. And if you're out of mana, and you've been queuing minions for your stun, then either you're just staying in lane too long. You shouldn't have to rely on meditate, and besides you get 2 points in it anyway. Reduce the cooldown on summoner spells by 10%. Let's just say I like to make them burn with my Ignite. So, increases the duration of Shrine, Relic Quest, and neutral buffs. So, blue buff, as many people call it, will last 20% longer. Well, on a mid, that gives you a ton of mana regen and cooldown reduction. It makes laning so much easier if you get blue. Now, this is only for junglers that you can get blue with. Lee Sin, Shyvana. Actually, most junglers will give you blue. However, if you're running with a Mumu or maybe even a Cho'Gath, I know some Cho'Gaths can get pretty greedy with their blues. You don't want to run this. For the most part, the exact same thing. Except, instead of 2 points here and this stuff, you're going to get 3 points here and 1 point here. So I'm going to show you the difference one more time. You're losing these 4 stuff. Yeah, I'll show you. Lose these 4 stuff. You put 3 points here and 1 point there. Click save, and there you go. That actually saved. Undo that. And that is the Annie runes and masteries. And you should be set to go on some people with Annie now. 2. They just generalize what I feel was the most important things I've said in this tutorial. use your Q to farm minions on the stun. Um, if you want to be sneaky, and I like being sneaky, when you've got 3 on the hand, don't Q a minion for the 4th. Use your shield and Q them. They won't expect the stun, they'll think you're hacking. It's kind of cool. Be confident when you fight. Always fight with confidence. Don't, run away. Unless, everyone's dying. But just fight. Don't half fight, don't run, then go back in, then run, then go back in, then run, and end up dying, killing nobody. So, believe in yourself. And that is it for the Annie tutorial. I hope you guys liked it. I guess subscribe this video. This is Frosty Snow, and I will see you guys later.